Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. Guys, I know a lot of you have been talking about my shape up and the beard and how thick it is, and the fact that, I need a nice trim. I'm going to get one soon. I literally have no time. I'm so busy with the stuff that I do. Lesson preparing, as you guys know, I am a sports lecturer, so I kind of like preparing my lessons, marking. It's all long, and not just that. Then obviously the YouTube stuff, creating the content, getting it out there. It's really difficult, and that's why I sometimes I'm a complete mess. I don't like having this beard, even though some people think it looks all right. My mom hates it, but it's so hard for me to find time. And when I finish preparing all my lessons and stuff, it's about 5 o'clock, or barbers close. So what I'm planning to do is hopefully get the barber to come over to my house and get it cut at my house. But yeah, I can't cut my hair myself. Nobody in my family can cut hair, so I'm gonna have to get my barber to come over to my house, to get it done. And that's why really I'm lazy on the weekends. I think that's when I need to go get it done, but I'm lazy just creating, not lazy, but I'm doing work on the weekends, like creating content, looking at stuff on YouTube, and it's just just busy. I'm just constantly busy. It's not good. I don't even get that much sleep, to be honest. I need to sleep more as well. Sometimes I only get 6 hours, 7 hours, and I need to sleep more because my brain at times is just overworking. It's constantly working. So yeah, I need a bit more rest sometimes, which I don't always get, especially during the weekdays. I don't get much rest. But yeah, I thought I'd update you. My life's very hectic, hence why sometimes you see me in a complete mess. I know they say that look good, feel good, everything else follows, but it's not that easy for me. It's just not. But yeah, thanks for letting me know. I just thought I'd share that with you. It's not very important, but I just thought I'd share it with you. In terms of the video that I wanted to talk about, Jermell Charlo has come out and said that he would knock out Terence Crawford if they fought. He was very dismissive and didn't really seem that interested in the fight. He said, why are you looking to fight me? Fight Errol Spence, be the challenger. And he went in on Crawford, in terms of the relationship with Bob Arum. He said, Bob Arum don't care about you. I'll knock you out. Take less money against Spence. Fight Errol Spence. Obviously, we know Charlo and Spence are good friends. I don't understand why Charlo would be dismissive of that fight. If I was Charlo, I thought he'd be quite welcoming of that fight. He's fighting a guy who's much smaller than him. Charlo's much bigger. He's a bigger puncher. And a win over Terence Crawford, who's currently ranked in the top 2 pound for pound, the most top 2, top 3 pound for pound, would be a great step in the right direction for Jermell Charlo. It'd be a massive fight, huge money fight. It'd be the biggest probably payday that Charlo would get against Crawford. It'd be a huge fight. I think it'd enhance Charlo's reputation. So I don't understand why Charlo would be so dismissive of the fight. It doesn't make sense. I think it's a very good fight. I think it's a fight which would sell, make a lot of sense, make money. It would enhance his credibility. It also does a lot for Crawford, especially if Charlo becomes undisputed. I think that would make the fight even bigger. I think it would, obviously, if Crawford ends up beating Charlo and becoming undisputed at 154 pounds, I think that would take Crawford's legacy to another level. So obviously Crawford's got a lot to gain, and also you'd have to say that would be Crawford's hardest fight to date. Yeah, Crawford wouldn't have been in the ring with anyone as good as Jermell Charlo. Certainly not the career or resume that he's had. He's been in with some good fighters, but some of them were past their best. Porto was a good fighter. Khan was past his best. Brook was past his best. And then Postal. These are okay, but Charlo would definitely be, especially if he becomes undisputed, the most accomplished fighter Crawford would be in the ring with. And Charlo would be a very dangerous, because he's a lot bigger than anyone that Crawford's ever fought, and he's a bigger puncher than anyone that Crawford's fought. So that would be a seriously tough fight, and a fight that, if Crawford wins, Crawford would be, it'd be a legacy fight. I called out for this fight a long time ago. I said if Errol Spence don't come to the table, I think it would be a fight that Charlo would be interested, as he's the bigger man, but he doesn't seem interested. and it doesn't understand. Is it because he feels that Charlo feels that Crawford's style is a horrible style for him? I don't know. I think it would be. I think Crawford would be a difficult style for Charlo. But if Charlo lands on Crawford, it could be game over, because Charlo's a very, 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 very strong, big puncher. But again, Charlo is reckless. He is wild, but he is tough. He's got a good chin. That's a very good fight. That's a really tough fight. 50-50 for me. Crawford's the more skilled out of the two. He's the better fighter out of the two. But I think Charlo's size, strength, power makes it a very 50-50 type fight, because if he lands on Crawford, which I think he will, it could be very interesting. I don't know how Crawford handles that power, if I'm totally honest. I think that power could be a problem. I certainly do think. I think it's a great fight. I do. I think it's a fight that would enhance both their legacies. I think Charlo should be interested. If Crawford's interested, I think Charlo should be interested. But, you know, why Charlo would dismiss it doesn't make sense to me. I think it makes a lot of sense for both guys. I think it's a big money fight. I think it's, like I said, a legacy fight for Charlo, legacy fight for Crawford. I like it. I do like the fight. I think it's a great fight. And these are the type of fights that boxing needs, to be honest with you. And also, it'd be a kick in the teeth to Spence as well, because if Crawford goes on to become, if he beats Charlo and becomes undisputed at 154, oh my God, you know, that puts him on another level to Spence from a legacy point of view, and from a marketability point of view. I think then when Crawford comes to the table with Spence, you know, I don't think Spence has a leg to stand on. I'd actually even say that I think Crawford would be the A side, not Spence, because of that win. Like, that's how big it could be for Crawford. And I think Charlo, although he's talking a brave game, I do think that Charlo would consider that fight. And although he seemed quite dismissive of the fight, I actually think Charlo would be very interested. Personally, he should be. You know, because Crawford's top 3 pound for pound. You know, Charlo's not in anyone's top 10 pound for pound, even though, you know, you can make an argument for him, but he's not in, most people don't have Jermell Charlo in their top 10 pound for pound. So that would be a step in the right direction. And if he was to beat Crawford, he'd definitely be in everyone's top 10, maybe top 5, you know, after that, a win like that. So for me, personally, I think if Crawford wins, you could make a case for him being pound for pound number 1, because he'd been undisputed in 2 weight classes. And let's not forget, Crawford started his career at 135. So for him to jump up to 154 and become a champion in his 4th weight class, and not just that, become undisputed against the best guy at 154 pounds, that for me would be some statement. That would be for me a great statement from from Terence Crawford. So yeah, I like that fight. I think stylistically, I think it's a great fight. I think it's 50-50 because of what I said. I think Crawford's the better boxer. He's got more tools in his arsenal. He's the better fighter. He's more skilled. He's quicker, better feet. You know, I think Charlo's fast. He's reckless. Got more power. Size of Charlo make it a 50-50 fight. If they were both the same size, I would pick Crawford all day long. I think Crawford would outbox him, but I think Crawford would outbox him. But I think Charlo has the power to wipe Crawford out. I do. I know people say, well, Crawford's not that hard to hit. He can be hit, and if Charlo hits you, he'll know about it, because Charlo's way bigger. Charlo's really going to move up to 160 pounds. Charlo's massive. I can't see if Charlo lands on Crawford, it could be game over. And Crawford's not a small guy. Crawford's tall, he's long, he's got long reach, long arms. But I don't see him taking the power of Charlo. If Charlo lands on Crawford, I think it could be curtains, because I think Charlo is massive. He's massive. Charlo's huge, and the size difference in that fight would be massive. Like, for me, look at the size difference between Kell and Terence Crawford. Look how big Kell Brook was compared to Terence Crawford. And Kell Brook's nowhere near as big as Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo's massive. He's taller, he's bigger, he's stronger. He takes a better punch than Kell Brook. He hits harder than Kell Brook. You know, so yeah, I know the Kell Brook was washed, so it wasn't really much of a fight. But Jermell Charlo's different. He's a different, like, I think the biggest guy that Crawford's been in the ring with is probably Kell Brook, size-wise. And Kell Brook's nowhere near as big as Jermell Charlo. And remember, Jermell Charlo's in his prime as well. And Brook gave him bit of trouble, but Brook's, you know, he's got a good jab. Charlo's just powerful. He's powerful. He hits hard with that right hand. He's explosive as well. Jermell Charlo's very explosive. So, like I said, I think he has the capability of wiping Crawford out. It's a great fight. It's a 50-50 fight because of those reasons. Like I said, I think Crawford's the better boxer, but size matters in boxing. And size could play a massive impact in that fight. Massive impact in that fight. That ain't going to be an easy fight at all. So yeah, I think that's a fight that I want to see. It's a good fight. It's a 50-50 matchup. It's a fight that will enhance both their legacies. So yeah, I'm interested. I'm really interested in that fight. Guys, this is a video for one of my subscribers, Lee Wright, who's been asking me. The second part of this video I want to dedicate to Lee Wright, who's asked me about Mickinson and Vergil Ortiz. I think it's a great fight between Mickinson and Vergil Ortiz. I think Vergil Ortiz is a quality fighter. Mickinson's a very good fighter. I think you guys will be unknown, but Mickinson's a very good boxer. He's a very tricky southpaw, and he can box beautifully. I've seen him fight a few times. I saw him fight against Congo. He boxed beautifully in that fight. He's a bit negative, not the most exciting fighter to watch, but he's a very elusive, good fighter, Mickinson. And I think he's going to cause Vergil Ortiz a lot of problems in this fight. I think it's a massive step up, so you can't pick him to win against a hard-hitting Vergil Ortiz who's got the world at his feet at this particular point. I think Vergil Ortiz is one of the hot prospects in world boxing and the welterweight division. He's a problem. He's a force. I was very impressed with him against his fight against Kavaliauskas. Although he showed flaws in that fight, unfortunately, Mickinson doesn't really have the power to expose those flaws. Now, the problem is with Mickinson. I think Mickinson can outbox Ortiz. He could make it difficult for a couple of rounds. But I just don't think Mickinson has the power to keep Vergil Ortiz off. And I think Vergil Ortiz will walk Mickinson down and start breaking him down and hurting him. And if you can't hurt somebody and they're just walking through your punches, it's going to be very difficult to win, because Vergil Ortiz is a very good boxer. Right, Vergil Ortiz is a very good boxer as well. He's not like, if you were fighting somebody that's so reckless, so wild, you can just completely outbox them, pot shot them, make it look so easy. Vergil Ortiz is a lot better than, that. He's a proper boxer. He's not just a brawler, come forward, throwing wild shots. He throws very accurate punches. He's also got good technique. He's not wild, so to speak. He closes the ring down well. I think Mickinson will have success. As soon as Vergil Ortiz starts putting on the pressure, I think, is Mickinson going to be able to take the power, the strength of Vergil Ortiz? Because Mickinson ain't going to be able to keep Vergil Ortiz off with the power. He's got no power, or not enough power to hurt Ortiz, in my opinion, anyway. Could he outbox him? Could he take the pressure? I think these are the things that we have to see with Mickinson, because he's not proven at any kind of level, or at that level anyway. We know that he's a good fighter, but at a certain level. Fighting Chris Congo and fighting Vergil Ortiz are two different, it's a different ball game altogether. So for me, Mickinson has got a lot to prove in that fight against Vergil Ortiz. I think he's got a lot more to prove than Vergil Ortiz. I think Vergil Ortiz is already there or thereabouts. He's there knocking on a door for a world title contention. We don't know if Mickinson's at that level. Mickinson's a good boxer, but unfortunately, Mickinson's a slick boxer. Here's the thing, you had guys like Khan who were good boxers as well. Khan wasn't as slick, defensively made mistakes. Mickinson's a bit more defensively responsible. However, Khan had offensive ability that was able to keep people off with his hand speed. I don't think Mickinson has that, and that will be a problem, because if you don't have the power or the surprise factor to stop somebody coming forward, it's going to be very difficult for you to win a fight against someone like Vergil Ortiz, who's a very technically sound fighter. Don't get fooled by he's a brawler. No, he's a very technically sound boxer who hits very hard, and it's a very tough fight. Very, very, Mickinson would have to box out of his skin. And let's not put it this way as well. He's fighting on an away show, so he's going to have to not just beat Ortiz, he's going to have to batter him. I can't see it. I can't see the way Mickinson wins this fight. I have no horse in the race. I wish Mickinson wins. It'll be good for British boxing to see a guy, change his life and become a star of British boxing. I've just got to be honest. I can't see it. I can't see Mickinson pulling this one off. I know, Lee, right, you're from Portsmouth, and you're saying that Mickinson's from Portsmouth. I really hope he wins. I really hope he wins. It'd be good for British boxing. I'm British at the end of the day. But in terms of me wanting someone to win, and do I think they're going to win? I don't think he wins. Unfortunately, I just can't see how he wins this fight. Even if he boxes a perfect fight, will he get the decision? Because Mickinson boxes quite a negative fight. Are the judges going to favour him? Like I said, he'd have to beat the brakes of Vergil Ortiz. I think Vergil Ortiz is too good a boxer for anyone to beat the brakes of. Like, I don't even think Errol Spence would beat the brakes, or Crawford would beat the brakes of Vergil Ortiz. I think it would be very hard. I think he's a very good boxer. You know, look at the fight that Kavaliauskas gave. Kavaliauskas gave Crawford a good fight. And I know Kavaliauskas gave Vergil Ortiz a good fight, even wobbled him. But the way Vergil Ortiz came back and battered him and stopped him, it was frightening. And I don't know whether Mickinson would beat Kavaliauskas. And styles make fights. But I just think that Vergil Ortiz's style is all wrong. He's all wrong for Mickinson, in my opinion. I might be wrong, and that's for Mickinson to prove us wrong. I think majority of the boxing world will be picking Vergil Ortiz. But again, it comes down to, can he do it? Can he pull it off and shock the world? We'll have to wait and see. But leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Who do you think wins, Vergil Ortiz or Mickinson? Let me know your opinions in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.